Welcome back to the Eric Crypto channel. It is a bit of a different day because, as you can see, we are doing this Crypto style. Why is that? Because my luggage has been lost. It's been lost by good old Emirates. So fuck you, Emirates. No, just kidding. But if you do live in Sweden, please contact me if you see a massive blue luggage bag. Anyways, the title of this video is It's Happening. And I just want to continue on with the overall thread of analysis that we've been having on this channel, which is looking at that 5-day time frame and following this one, which we have been for the past, it seems like a month to a month and a half now. Anyways, what has happened here? We have seen the 5-day pivot start to turn to the upside. In fact, we are seeing our first 5-day flip of the stochastic oscillator in the critical zone here, in this case on the Bitstamp exchange. However, we're gonna go do a different one as well, which I think is a little more enlightening. And of course, why is this significant? Well, this is significant because it's the first time that we're actually seeing the 5-day stochastic momentum turn back onto the upside. But this is gonna be in conjunction with the overall setup that we were looking at with the 5-day volatility versus stochastic momentum signature. So 5-day BBWP going back into remission here, a bit of a contraction phase, obviously, and this is happening simultaneously while the 5-day stochastic oscillator is pointing to the upside from the critical area, and will be remaining with upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 25,800. Now, of course, as always, whenever this setup is potential for activation, I do want to reference and be aware of the statistics over here, which we have seen about an average move of around about 40% with a standard deviation of 7%. And the average amount of time taken for this setup to emerge after confirmation has been about 37 days. So this is a setup that would take us into kind of like mid, maybe even end of October, assuming that does play out. But for right now, probability is going to once again shift it in favor of the BULAs, as we have been saying. We have that quad witching date on Friday, and now we're having the 5-day setup potentially firing off here. And before that is even relevant, we already see that the 2-day time frame is setting up here as well. The 2-day time frame having that same sort of stochastic and volatility setup, volatility already gone to that contracted phase right here, now seemingly expanding from that with still another day left to closure. So it's not necessarily confirmed just yet, but tomorrow if we start to see it close above these regions, then it looks like it might just be. So why is that going to be significant? Well, we're going to see the 2-day and the 5-day line up here. The 2-day time frame stochastic oscillator actually getting a little bit of bullish evidence on that last low. Plus, we do see that it is actually having a very similar pivot to the 5-day at 25,500. So what does this all mean? What does it all mean? Nobody knows. It's an enigma. No, what I mean by that is that we can now use these pivot numbers as a sort of governor as to when to know when things are going to switch, from bullish to bearish in this case, or just, higher probability of the upside than the downside. I think that's actually a more accurate way of saying it. Bullish and bearish is not really accurate. It doesn't really say all that much, and I think people have very bizarre ideas about that just in general. So the 2-day time frame setup, of course, is a little bit different than the 5-day in terms of statistics. We're looking, this one kind of presumes more of like a 25-ish% move, and it is certainly a little bit less of a hit rate with the direction of the stochastic oscillator, about just above 80%. I think actually even for the long signals, that's in the 70s, but I don't have that data with me right now because I'm operating on not the best computer at the moment, unfortunately. Anyways, other than that, I did also want to point out, or at least I forgot to point out, that the 5-day over here on the exchange that we've been looking at, Bybit, has actually been following this trend line, the same trend line that's been governing the lows since July of 2022, then again in October, and again in December on like the lows. More recently in June of this year on that major low before Bitcoin ran up from about 25 to 32, and then perhaps bouncing on it yet again. So is this time different? Perhaps yes. At some point, these things will definitely break, but we do see multiple things kind of going hand in hand right here, and so far so good as Bitcoin does. Not just complete that, but I believe that will also start to initiate hidden bullish evidence on the weekly if Bitcoin can start to, really confirm this as a bottoming area. For what it's worth, not my favorite portion of analysis, but for what it is worth, we also do see that the weekly did close as a bullish engulfing, just barely right there. But so far so good. So the next major area of interest to the upside is going to be about the high of what we did see in August at 28,150 or so. Above there, Bitcoin obviously gets kind of a free ride back above 30,000 bucks. So Yeah, I think that is where I want to leave this one off today. Nice and short and sweet. I'm operating on very limited battery here. Once it runs out, I literally will have no computer. So I need to go computer shopping, and hopefully that will do it for now. If you're new to this channel, probably none of this shit makes sense. So fair enough, man, fair enough. But for the people who've been here for a while now, especially, you kind of seeing these long-term ideas start to slowly emerge. And I suspect that, well, we'll continue to monitor this one in the upcoming week. With those pivots in mind. Basically, though, you know, the short portion of this analysis would say that the 2-day and the 5-day are in alignment here. 25,500, let's say, is kind of like a major pivot. As long as Bitcoin's above there, probabilities still favor the blue laws. Below there, probabilities will shift around in bear law's favor, and we can apply all those same percentage moves to the downside. But for right now, you know, upside, just probabilistically speaking, statistically speaking, more likely. And I will leave it at that. I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully with a charged computer soon. Take care.